Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
All right, thanks a lot, Erica, and thank you for tuning into the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. I'm Rich Walsh. I'll be joined by Robby Incmikoski, our Pirates insider, and there he is right now. We're talking Bucks. The Penguins right now are tied with the Flyers, 1-1 in the third period. The Bucks lost in the 13th. They had many opportunities here tonight to win that game. We'll also get into the draft a little bit later. But, Robby, I'm going to start with the Pirates because I feel like they blew one here tonight. You had another opportunity to win a game against a really good team, and you blew it. Weather didn't really help the Pirates. They had a 4-0 lead, and then weather hit, and there was a 2-hour delay. I think that really impacted the Pirates because Paul Skeens could have went another inning if that weather held off, and they probably would have won that game, but they didn't. Cam Sanders came in, blew it, and the rest is history, and they lose this game. But I guess there are some bright spots. Connor Griffin, I feel like, is swinging a hot bat right now. I mean, he was 0 for tonight, but he's starting to get confidence, and so is Marcell Ozuna, and that's something that the Pirates need right now from him.
Rich, we talked about Marcell Ozuna a week ago, and also 2 weeks ago when people were worried about him in a 1 for, was it 27, 1 for 28, whatever it was not good. But this guy's been in the league a decade and a half and knows what he's doing. And I wrote down some numbers just for you, Rich. In the last 3 games, he's got 6 hits, 12 bases, 3 homers, and 5 RBIs. Now, he hit the 2-run homer today, but when you have guys that have been in the league as long as he has an idea for what his performance level is going to be. So I was definitely not discouraged by the first, 3 weeks probably that he had. Not ideal, obviously, but he's going to step up and provide the power that they need. As for today's game, no doubt about it, disappointing loss, a drag-out game. The game ended 6 hours and change after it began. You're right, Skeens could have gone another, I would say at least 2, weather depending. Maybe you have a different outcome if that's the situation. Blowing a 4-0 lead, not ideal, but again, not reason to get discouraged. Chance to win the series tomorrow. Yeah, Mitch Keller's on the mound. He's a solid option for this team right now. Are you starting to worry about this bullpen? This is, 2 times, not only getting out of jams, but 2 times pickoff attempts by Pirates pitchers failed and runs scored, and the Pirates ended up losing those games. That one in the 11th, Taylor Walls went from first all the way to home. We showed the highlight. You can't have mistakes and miscues like that. They got to get things straightened up and buttoned up a little bit. Well, Rich, there's no doubt about it, and you're right, okay? But when you look at a situation like this, and certainly it impacted the game. I will not argue that point at all with you, Rich, not at all. But what I will say is something like that is a physical error. And that is something that will be worked on, whether it's with a base coach, whether it's with a pitching coach, whoever it is that's working on pickoff attempts. This stuff happens. It was not a mental error. Yes, it impacted the game. But this is where Donnie Kelly comes into play in a situation like this, because this is a guy that is built on preparation, work ethic, having good people around him. Physical errors you can live with, even though it was a painful physical error that we dealt with today, wasn't a mental error, certainly controllable. But again, you mentioned bullpens, Rich. What team of the 30, with the exception of maybe the Dodgers and maybe 1 or 2 other teams, have a rock-solid bullpen? It is hard to build bullpens because there's such a constant churn at the bottom of the bullpen. And a guy like Urquidy gets optioned. Somebody else comes up, he has a hard time. Then he gets optioned, Urquidy's back. So it's just a hard time managing a bullpen, but it's still April, not time to panic yet. Yeah, and that's, I think, one thing you can fix throughout the season. There are arms out there that you could potentially trade for and not give up a lot for, and I think that's a good option for the Pirates. The one thing I'm encouraged about are their bats, and they scored 7 runs again here tonight. They put up runs. It's just they've been giving up runs too. Yeah, but these are part of the ebbs and flows early when a team finds its identity. And look, I'm not going to claim to be some kind of expert or know it all about baseball. But in this month, these teams, they're finding their way. They're finding the identity with the welder's helmet, the cone. Fans are wearing cones, and the offense is still finding itself. Connor Griffin, great first opening day, and then hit the skids a little bit. The league adjusts to him. But I really feel like this team is going to start firing at some point in time in all cylinders, simply because they have the infrastructure in place to be successful. And tough loss. So far, chance to win the series tomorrow. I think you feel a lot better going to Arlington, Texas, winning 2 out of 3 against a good Tampa Bay team if they can win the series finale. Yeah, 12-9 now. They're still at the top of the division.
that's a good sign. They have a winning record. They didn't get to 12 wins until, I think, May 9th last year.
Yeah.
So they're 3 weeks ahead of schedule from that. So that's a positive. And here's our Penn West University question of the night. Just scan that QR code in the right-hand corner of your screen. Will the Pirates win the series versus the Rays tomorrow? 72% of our audience thinks they will.
I agree with that.
I agree with that, too.
Yeah.
I like the way this team's playing. You can't afford to be streaky. That's the one thing about the Pirates. You can't go on one of these 5 or 6 game losing streaks. Hey, if you win a couple, lose one, maybe win one, lose one, something like that, and that's kind of what they're doing. And if you just keep stacking series, that's important. So tomorrow's a huge game, I think, early on for the Pirates.
Rich, you took the words right out of my mouth. Winning series now, if you look back, remember in 2023, the Pirates were 20-8 when they were heading to Tampa.
That was kind of a mirage, though, right? Didn't you feel you were like falsely optimistic about it, right?
I don't know that I would say falsely optimistic, but at some point in time, the league catches up. I just think when you look at this team, they're built to have a little bit of success. And you're right. If they can win a series, go down to Texas. They're a 50-50 team right now with regard to their record, the start that they're off to right now. Then you got to go to Milwaukee, a division rival. Then you get a chance to start to make a little noise. Milwaukee has been hell on earth for this team for how many decades now? It's given them a hard time. But when they're stacking up series, and if they could come away with a series win, I just don't think at this point in time you get too high or too low with regardless of what the result may be.
We're not going to talk a lot of Penguins here tonight just because I'm sure Penguins fans are watching the game right now as we are. So
they're not watching us? Why not, Rich?
I mean, Pirates and Steelers fans should be watching us, right?
Man.
But the Penguins fans are watching the game, and I totally understand. Philadelphia, by the way, just scored a little bit ago, and it's 2-1 Flyers.
That was a great vibe, by the way, Rich. I was there for the first 2 periods before I ran here to complete my dream of doing TV with you.
Yeah.
And it was a great vibe at that arena tonight. There's nothing like a Penguins-Flyers rivalry. It is so fun, and it's great for hockey.
And there's nothing like our weekly segment together. I love it. So let's continue that.
Except for your hair being better than mine. I love doing this, Rich.
No argument there. We got to take a break. Back in a couple of minutes on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. All right, welcome back to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. Rich Walsh along with Robby Incmikoski, great author, great Pirates insider we have on tonight. This is from Pony, our Xfinity tweet of the night. Marcell Ozuna, 180, 2 home runs, 7 RBI, 549 OPS. Andrew McCutchen, a little bit better in the batting average, less home runs. I think he's catching up, right? That's basically what Ozuna said. It's basically what Filipponi said. Ozuna's catching up.
Yeah.
And it looks like maybe the Pirates did make the right decision. We were all, rushing to judgment early on. And you were the guy, you were the calming voice of reason saying, hey, slow down. There's a lot of season left.
Rich, look, I'm not an expert. I'll never claim to be an expert. But one thing you learn being around this game long enough is these guys that have been in the league as long as they have, they never get too high and they never get too low. And that's why I'm not worried about it. It's not to say that Kutch is going to have a bad year or a great year, or that Ozuna is going to hit 300 and give you 30 homers and 100 RBIs. Maybe that's possible. We don't know. But what I'm saying is I certainly – mid-April is not the time to panic for a guy who's been in the league as long as Marcell Ozuna's been there. By the way, my man Nick in the West End said Skeens was grooving, and he should have got a couple more innings. So I blame you, Rich, that the weather pushed him out.
Well, hey, I'm not the weather guy. I'm the sports guy.
Still your fault anyways.
And I do claim you as an expert, and that's why I'm going to send this tweet along your way from Jace Collins.
All right.
How many times has the front end of the Pirates bullpen already blown leads of at least 4 runs? I can tell you they did it here today, and 1 is more than enough for me.
Bullpens, they're just so hard to build. I mean, how many middle relievers do you see getting big contracts? How many middle relievers do you see getting long-term contracts? You don't see it a lot. You see it with closers. You see it with eighth-inning guys to an extent. And by the way, don't sleep on the history of the Pirates and how they find closers. Go back to Joel Hanrahan. Then you had Jason Grilli, Mark Melancon, Tony Watson. Obviously, Felipe Vasquez is a creep, but him. You had Bednar. Santana.
Yeah.
I mean, the Pirates have a history and a great track record of building a bullpen. Front ends of bullpens are just not easy. When you got to fill 5, 6, 7, 5 through 9, that's tough. Especially when you have Skeens on the mound, they probably weren't counting on using a lot of these guys today. So both bullpens are taxed. I think what the Rays use, 8 or 9 pitchers they use today. So they're going to have a rough go tomorrow. So a lot is going to be placed on the starters to give them a little bit of length, or we might see a roster transaction either tonight or before first pitch tomorrow.
I don't want to send you on a tangent here.
Oh, here we go. Which means you want to send me on a tangent. So
well, what about Jared Jones? Putting him in the bullpen. He got the stuff. He got the fastball. He has an arm issue right now.
Yeah.
Maybe he's more suited for a back-end reliever, and that might help this bullpen out when he does come back at the end of May.
Well, here's the one thing. The other key they have to that, and first of all, when you get Jared Jones back, he's not going to throw 6-7 innings his first start or his second start coming back. He's going to throw a couple innings here, a couple innings there. Now, however long he goes, he goes. But Carmen Mlodzinski is a great guy for that situation where you talked about the front end of the bullpen. Mlodzinski going 9 up, 9 down, gives you 3 solid innings on a day like today. If he wasn't starting and he was fresh, you mean to tell me the Pirates might not be in a better situation? But that's the personnel that they have. Mlodzinski's starting right now. Jones is working his way back from Tommy John surgery. So I wouldn't have a problem with that, Rich, putting either Jones in a bullpen role coming out, but then again, you got to be careful. This guy's been groomed as a starter. Yeah. Mlodzinski has been a swingman. He's been a starter. He's done a little bit of both. So when Jones comes back, don't underestimate how good they can backfill in that bullpen.
All right, by the way, the Flyers just took a 2-goal lead. It's 3-1 now. I'm trying to watch it on
they're going to be so mad here in Pittsburgh.
3-1. We might get people tuning over now, thinking the game's over with 2 minutes to go. And Flyers up 3-1.
And they're going to get home field. They're going to take home field advantage from the Pens. It's going to be a great series. I think it's going along. I think the series is. I don't think this is a 4 or 5 game series.
No, I predicted 7 games.
That's what
I thought Pens in 7.
And neither of these teams are supposed to even be here right now. Give credit to Timu Joe Block, Dan Muse. Give credit to Rick Tocchet, Stanley Cup champion, for turning these respective franchises around and putting some energy into them and the fan bases as well, because that vibe tonight was unbelievable, like I've never seen before.
Well, Tocchet really sent his players after the Penguins. No doubt this is going to be a physical one. I expect it to be physical, but maybe not that soon into the first game. So let's go out to the phone lines. We got Rick out in Chippewa. How you doing, Rick?
Gentlemen, thanks for taking my call. You guys do a great job, too.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rick.
Bart, not a great hitter, right? Bart.
No.
Runners on third and second, 2 outs, down by a run. Bunt to tie the game. Griffin goes to third. Bunt again, win the game. They do not know how to bunt and play baseball like a rat in the corner needing runs. It's not small ball. It's called baseball.
Well, Bart, I think, was he talking about the last inning? Bart was up with 2 outs and 2 guys on. I don't think a bunt there.
You're not going to bunt with 2 outs with Joey Bart, who's slow as you and I, Rick.
I mean, look, maybe you could question some of the pitch selection and what he's swinging at. That's definitely not the guy that you want up there in that situation on this team. I was just looking up his batting average right now. I think he has a team low. It's something like 140, 143, something like that. But
you're looking at numbers way too early. It's mid-April.
You tell me to calm down. I have Bucko fever. I have the biggest case in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I can't calm down right now.
Yeah. Well, look, Joey Bart, this guy's a second overall pick. Finding himself, he had a rough go in the Giants organization when they drafted him. He comes here, he gets a second lease on life, baseball-wise. He had a really good year last year. This guy's a veteran presence for a young pitching staff. Mitch Keller's not young anymore, and Skeens is well beyond his years, but you got some of these other young guys coming up through the system. Bubba Chandler, they had Harrington. I'm forgetting a couple names right now, but we know who all those guys are, right?
Yeah.
He can help a guy like Skeens along. He's got a little bit of pedigree. Look, is his career going to live up to the expectations as second overall pick? Maybe, maybe not, probably not.
Not now.
But this guy's a good addition. Look, tough at bat today. I don't disagree with the caller's name, Joe, I believe, or Rick. I can't remember his name. I'm sorry about that. But
Rick from Chippewa.
Rick from Chippewa.
Great call.
You have a good point, no doubt about it. But don't give up hope yet on Joey Bart.
Yeah, I know.
I feel like I'm the eternal optimist.
It was a tough loss. I feel like every game that they lost, they should have won. We're making it. We're thinking of excuses of why this. So they're not getting blown out, which is a good thing.
And they're still 12-9. That's exactly my point, Rich. They're winning these tough games early. They win a tough series at Wrigley Field. That's hard to do. You know how long it's been since they've won a series like that in April at Wrigley?
Yeah.
A long time. It's not easy. That's what I'm saying. That's why, again, the Pirates have a good team. I think they're a playoff team right now. You look at the personnel, you look at Donnie Kelly, you look at the how many fewer mental errors they are making right now. Like you talked about the pickoff throw, that's a physical error. That's not a mental error. So I see so many signs of encouragement for this team at this particular time. Will it play out this way? We'll see. But right now, I'm not that worried.
Well, let's talk about another playoff team, but we got to take a break first.
Right.
The Steelers and what they're going to do in this week's draft coming up.
I can't wait.
All right, welcome back to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports. I'm Rich Walsh along with Robby Incmikoski. And Robby, big week in the city. I'm excited for it. Looking forward to the draft. Looking forward to seeing who the Steelers might pick. And I know this will be the last time you're on before that first round pick that they're going to have. Do you have any idea? What feeling do you get of what position that they might go after? For me, I still think it's wide receiver.
I would not rule that out. I don't see them taking a quarterback in the first round. Andy Weidl's the assistant general manager of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and if anyone has looked at how he's built Super Bowl winning teams, and he's done it not once, but he's done it twice. Once in Baltimore, once with the Eagles in 2017. He has a tendency to build up the line first. You look at what he did in Philly, same thing. Baltimore, same thing. Build from the interior out. I don't know where they are in that process, but what I will say is I wouldn't be surprised. Certainly you need a receiver, but I would not be surprised they go lineman, linebacker, something along those lines. That would be where I would lean at this point. I'll let you know as we get closer if I think I have a gut feeling either way, Rich.
Yeah,
you know what? I mean,
if it would be, if the Penn State guard, Venga Ione is there, I think he's a no-brainer. That's the guy you got to take.
He won't be there, so.
You don't think he's going to be there?
No.
How about that Fanu tackle from Utah? He could potentially be there.
That's possible.
I would love to see Mekhi Lemon fall, but now I think with this, the Giants getting 2 picks in the top 10, they're definitely taking a receiver. I think that could throw things off a little bit. So, you know, if there are 2 or 3 receivers gone in the first 10, 12, 15 picks, I guarantee you Mekhi Lemon would be one of them.
I could see that happening as well. I just think, you know, it's when you're building in a situation like this, they're going to look to build long term. Who can they put around? Are these pieces they could put in place and put other people around them, veteran guys that can help, guys with pedigree, guys like a Patrick Queen, for example, who's experienced success, veteran guy. Patrick Peterson, Jalen Ramsey, these guys who've been around a long time that can help younger players kind of find the way and learn how to be a professional as fast as possible.
So my big question, though, it's interesting for me. They have 5 picks in the first 3 rounds. They got 3 third-rounders. I'm curious. They can't keep all their picks. They have 12 picks. They just can't do it. So they're going to be trading some away. And would you rather see them trade those third-round picks to move up, or would you rather see them get rid of some later picks and swap like for next year or something?
Draft capital means a ton. Don't underestimate it. That's all I'm going to say. I could see it going either way. But look what they did. They traded Chase Claypool a couple of years ago for a pick that ended up being, I want to say, Joey Porter Jr. Yeah, exactly. So if they can pull off something like that, yes. My top pick would be your hair, Rich.
Oh, thank you. It's tremendous. Hey, I appreciate the time. See you next week. Hopefully we see you guys on KDKA News right now.